Welcome back. Thank you for joining us on the press. We are going to have our discussions on the various topics, and with me to discuss this is no other person but a familiar face here at the studio, and to you viewers, our own comrade Moses KOLAWOLE OBISESAN.
Yeah, good morning.
The entrepreneur and public analyst.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
Yeah, we'll be looking at the headlines together. I will be discussing the issues. Of course, as you know, we'll be starting with the most important issue that dominated the headlines across the newspapers, which is the swearing in of the INEC chairman and the promise that he made to Nigerians that is certainly going to be a transparent process. What do you make of what he said?
Yeah, okay. Nice way to start. Actually, he's been very silent since his appointment before now being inaugurated. I want to say that his body language seems to that he understands the weight of the job. The job has got, as far as I'm concerned, that's the biggest appointment in this country. The appointment of the INEC chair is the biggest, is the most serious, is the most consequential.
Comes with a lot of public trust.
A lot of public trust, and the consequences of whether he does it right or wrong,
whichever way it goes
is so much.
But then the desire is enormous that he does it right.
Yeah, no. The desire is there that he does it right. All support that he should be able to deliver, and also his pedigree shows that he will deliver. That's what the pedigree shows. But I know that the weight of the office is huge. You know, where over 200 million Nigerians, you know, over 230 million Nigerians are depending on somebody to be able to actually give them the leadership that they desire. You must not only do it right, you must be seen to have done it right. So it's very crucial. It's not just I want to encourage him to talk less, but let his result, let his speak very voluminous. Let his result really say a lot about him. Now they've given him the challenge for Anambra, the very close one right here, Anambra election. The president has actually given him a marching order, make sure it's transparent and free and fair. You know, so I will really want him to go to work. There's so many of his lieutenants who are still there now, who are still very experienced. I mean, that he can use a whole lot of persons, a lot of very experienced hands in INEC. I want to see him really bring them close, get into a sort of what I'll call a retreat, to just say, how do we ensure that we get it right? Because it's going to be the first impression. And the first impression, it may not be the only impression, but it lasts longer than anyone that he tries to do. So I want to wish him well. I want to challenge him that he should do everything. He should just stay apolitical. Just get there and get the job done. But not just getting the job done, making sure that the process because the process is even stronger than the result that you deliver. When people see that, okay, they said they will do this at so time is done. They said we're going to actually be at this, all of the milestones, all of the deliverables done and transparently so. You know, so because people must have faith in the result. So, and it is the process that will give that faith and acceptance of the result. So Professor AMUPITAN, your job, I don't envy you. I don't want to be an INEC chair. It's one of the craziest job to do, because I tell you, there's nobody who puts pressure on any human being as much as politicians. When they want a particular thing in a direction, they put enormous pressure on you, and you must really be stone coated. You understand what I'm saying? You must actually have ironclad to be able to resist all of that. And so I wish you well. I really hope that we will get it right for once. You know, I know that okay, maybe we'll get it right again. Don't let me say for once. There's actually the June 12 did for the man to have said, look, this is actually fair and fair and all of that. I think we got it right as at that time. After then, we're not sure. Even Umaru Musa Yar'Adua said, look, the election that brought me was for. So we've really not gotten the job of picking our leaders very right. I want to see him come in and really change things like no other.
All right. When he was responding to the charge by the president and speaking to journalists, he mentioned that his appointment is divine. And when an appointee makes out such a statement, it gives an impression that he is a man who has an understanding of the spiritual dimension to his choosing. Yeah. But to a diverse society with multiple belief, we have the Christians, we have the Muslims, we have the traditional believers, and even those who don't even believe,
free thinkers.
So what do you think this kind of message will go through the minds of the mixed society to which he made this comment?
Okay, I know that Nigeria is actually, like you said, we are very religious people, and so that counts for him. Maybe whether it is the Christian, because the combination of both the Christian and the Muslim, so to speak, actually is beyond 90%. And so if he's speaking to the mind and to the spirit of the 90%, I think he's not doing badly. Anybody who scores 90% is said to be an excellent result. So I'm sure he's just trying to be in tandem with the expectation that, look, I won't just be competent in the books or in the board, but I will have the fear of God even as I deliver here. I tell you that you may be shocked that, like people will say, it's not just competence, it has to do with emotionally carrying people along, to say that I think the guy is relatively a godly person. He will want to do the right, he will want to do all of that. So for me, I think it's okay. For me, it's like I said, it's more of changing the pattern of how things were done before. I know that his hands are tied, especially as far as these particular elections are concerned. And I'll tell you what I'm saying. It is still the old rules that is going to use. For instance, whether transmitting the election, the election from the polling booth to whatever is not mandatory. It's just a good idea, and so it can't work outside the frame of the rules and the frame of law and the rules that guides INEC for now, until certain changes are made. So I'm trying to help Nigerians to be able to have healthy expectation of him. Yeah. That look, the old rules that actually tied the hands of Jega and the hands of Mahmoud, to be able to deliver, it is still the old rule that is using for Anambra election. Having said that, but he can work out something where he can actually score beautiful point is when they see the process that leads to it. Because they are saying that, how come that this happened and you said you're going to do this? I think that former chairman of INEC, they over promised. The over promise, don't worry, we're going to transmit. In fact, if you see the whatever Beavers is going to do, don't say so much. Just say, look, you know what, within the confines and within the resources, within the operational guide and within all of that, we will give you the very best that is possible. And this is actually our milestones. These are our processes that we have that we want to be able to achieve that. And let the people, and also open your mind to a lot, because there's a lot of resources out there. There's a lot of civil societies and NGOs. A lot of people want to help. So open your mind and your whatever to them, but don't allow them to sit on the driver's seat. Because there's also a way by which civil society want to hijack whatever and want to give you how to go. No, you should not say this. No, don't allow it. You are in charge and you are carrying the burden of 230 million Nigerians. I dare say that you are carrying the burden of 1.4 billion Africans. Because if Nigeria gets its well with the leadership process, then Africans will start getting it right. That's why you see the upcoming right these days of military rule in certain African countries. They are just feeling like we no longer, we no longer have believe in democracy. It's as if it's not working and all of that. And so we don't want to get there, because if there was recently a rumor of coup. It's the last thing we want to hear. But look, you cannot wish it away if the people who are supposed to ensure that leadership, the people's choice, the people's wish come to play. I love what was happening recently, where people think they want to make what's it called, the country's political landscape to be one party system. My brother, if everybody want to be one party for us to actually have a free and fair, so be it. Because it's even more dangerous. It is better for me to know that, out of 36 state governors, we have 30 here, and we have 6 here. And the natural justice will say that maybe 30 will win 6. Now, I'm not saying that 100% that way. But it's easier to take than when you now have the 6 swallowing 30. And they are wondering, how did you come over? That's impunity. That means the government of the day just feel like whether the whole governor goes out that way, whether they believe in it. Don't worry, I'm going to tell INEC chairman to just tell me I'm the one. I won again. We don't want, because people want to. Let them have a resemblance of saying, I think the process actually shows. So for me, allow the governors. If they are convinced that that's where they feel it needs to be, I don't have issues with that. But please, let the vote of Nigeria, let it count. Let people be able to, because whatever, I know who I voted, whether he won or not is a different ballgame. But what I'm saying is that let it be in my mind that I think really this person actually won, and let Nigerians, because of the process, and only the process can bring that, not just declaration of result. Let people see the result even before the result has been declared.
The concern has always been the process, because the figures can always come out, but let the process be one that the investment of emotions and trust is being placed on, comes out with the people's trust.
Correct.
As it was invested into it. Correct. So every vote is a trust on the system. Correct. Every vote from the voter is a trust on the system. And so when they invest that trust through the ballot, they're investing their emotions, they're investing their conviction. It may be right or wrong. They are investing their belief in a particular political process. Correct. So when that process does not seemingly turn out the way that they know it should be, not because that must be their own, but the processes are clear, leaving everybody doubtless. Correct. Then we are sure we've gotten what we are looking for. Now the lines will be thrown open for you to join us in this conversation. You can make a call into the studio through the lines that will be on your screen, and then you join us to talk about this while we move to other issues. But before we move, I think it's important for us to look at this. The president is charging the new chairman, yes, but there is a trust deficit from the population, in spite of the result of the election, towards the occupants of the office. From the people, there still is belief that the story of the glitch is one that casts a lot of doubts on the result of that election. Now, for a president who has emerged, who though has been doing so many things that one can say that is also positive, and of course Nigerians have their issues with the policies of the administration, and that is the right of the people to hold. But does he, as a president, charging INEC to perform? Do you see him giving INEC chairman the full support? And how will you advise him to guarantee the independence of the, even though it is named independent of the commission, under him to be able to deliver that election?
Yeah, I get you. Let me tell you something. I make Mr. President like the proverbial Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus in the Bible, when Jesus went, to the house of Zacchaeus, people said he has gone to the house of sinner. Tax collector is sinner. He was the last person they were expecting. But do you know something? Zacchaeus did something that was really very remarkable. He said, you know what? From today, if there's anybody I have cheated, I will pay double. If there's anybody I have actually unlawfully whatever, I will return. Zacchaeus statement cancel the entire thing. And then Jesus said, look, even I came for the sinners, and this guy is part of them, and is really. I want to see Mr. President do more, because you see, already he has the perception, because there's no court that has been able to nail him. Yeah. But we can say that he has a very major burden as far as perception is concerned among lots of Nigerians. Yes. Now, with that, he needs to do more, because I ask myself, what does a Bola TINUBU need any corruption for? Nothing. If it is money, he's got it. If it is name, if it is fame, he has all of that.
When he was
only one thing he doesn't have. No, not just the office. Not just the office. No, he's in the office, so he has it. But the only thing is that what legacy will he leave? When you are no longer in the office, what will people look back and say, wow, he left this for us? My brother, even if it is this one time that TINUBU did, he has capacity to leave indelible mark in the science of our electoral process in Nigeria. And for me, it doesn't take anything. It wasn't. Now I know the implication of frequent change of leadership. It actually slows down development. Yes. I understand. So if anybody, if there's a way, I saw when Senate is trying to actually bring 6 years single term, fantastic. But something fairly longer. I'm a supporter of longer term for each person. Single term. Because from that 4 years that you've given TINUBU, is the only time you can concentrate cannot be more than 3 years. Yeah. 3 years. No, let's even let's just dash that 3 years. So when you now say one term, then it becomes only 3 years. What can he do? What major project can he really start and finish? So for me, I love when we can actually have 2 term minimum. However, for me, I'm telling TINUBU that allow the wishes of Nigerians to actually prevail. Now, I'm not saying be stupid that somebody rigs you out. No. I'm not. I'm saying that challenge the INEC chair to say, look, ensure you do your very best. Also challenge the electoral amendment that needs to be fast track it, so that when they bring it to you, you sign it, so that it can actually apply to 2027. You don't want to say no. Let them leave the flawed process to allow me to come in 2027, while I will now change it when I come back second time to be able to stop anybody, because that's actually what a very convenient way to just say, don't worry, your electoral whatever will be changed, but not for 2027. I am thinking that it is legacy that it needs more than anything. It's already gotten almost what 0.001% of this country anybody will ask for, being the president. Look at even how Goodluck Jonathan. For me, I told you, I would, if I can advise Jonathan, please enjoy what you have. Don't come to this pressure of number one, when they are bashing you from all the 6 geopolitical zones. You don't need it. Already you left office and people are asking that you should come back. Don't go. That is a big, they say leave when the ovation is loudest. And you already left when they are calling you, bros, can you call? No. I will advise whoever is there, I will do all of that. That is a beautiful place to live. I'm praying that TINUBU will leave when people will look back and say, wow, he said 1 trillion economy, and he delivered it. He said better INEC whatever, he made it so. He said there's going to be because there are certain landmark things he has done that we cannot wish away in a hurry. He stood and made sure that the oil subsidy gone. And if you see the fourth front runner our presidential whatever, they said they're going to actually take all, the subsidy. You know, so for me, he did that, and that's beautiful. He did the issue of disparity in naira exchange and all that, fantastic. He did the issue of local government, you know, autonomy and all of that, fantastic. He's done the issue of
local government. Are they getting the funds?
No. You know something? He has done it. He's there, but he has not started implementation. You know why? Because he's also allowing the governors who are very key to him. The governors are saying, allow us to be able to actually implement this, and all of that. Okay, you know that is there, and the people, but as quickly, just like when they talk about subsidy, he took the subsidy and gave it to the governor. You are closer to the people, make sure that the subsidy, then he now watches them. I've given you X amount, and so the people go to him because we have done that. Now everybody understand that local government money should be getting to them. I think you need to expedite action to make that happen. Look at NER Fund, you know, making sure that the children of the poor, you know, one of my staff was telling me about how burdensome it is to send his kids, you know, to university and all of that, and I say, okay, because it's actually, I say, look, why don't you access NER Fund? Allow your kids to access NER Fund. Don't carry this much burden on yourself in university. And when government, he said, so I said, look, it's there.
No, it's real. I can confirm it's real because I have a friend who has some kids in the tertiary institution. And then when he saw it, he just said, well, let's try it. And surprisingly, the son who followed his instruction and tried it, he got it. And so the other ones were like, that's where it is. And so they are all now struggling to get the so it works. It may not, of course, and that brings us to that story of the EFCC now converting the monies recovered, the 100 billion recovered to boost the NER Fund purse, so that more Nigerians can have access to tertiary education, particularly those ones who are in high institution and for one reason or the other they are they are having challenges to continue with their education financially. Correct. You know, so that would be a boost, as it were, to them. But let us look at this before we come back to that. From what you have said about the INEC chairman, the president and INEC chairman, the president has everything that a man would desire for in this life. Correct. God has given him. Correct. Now the only thing he seemed not to have, as it were, in full, is the public perception of who he is and the legacy that he should be living. Correct. So it appears now that INEC, the appointment of the INEC chairman, is an opportunity for him to be able to get that. Correct. And get the clap from the applause from Nigerians that, hey, yes, it may have been very unsavory initially, but with this, we can say we are headed as somewhere. I agree with you totally. Let me say something that whether we see it or not, there's not been anybody, even the opposition did not criticize the appointment of AMUPITAN. So to a large extent, TINUBU got that right. I thumb up for him. To a large extent, he got that right. And now it is now AMUPITAN to go back and sit back and be able to deliver on the trust. Because people just checked everywhere. In fact, you know, the most challenging stuff that I heard about AMUPITAN was by ADC. ADC just said, well, we are watching carefully to see whether that is the worst. Every other person was just thumbing up. ADC, you know, that's the height of opposition. So they said they would be watching closely, you know, but they did not give him they didn't jump at him. That means the president got it right. I want to kudos to president for actually appointing somebody that has the least baggage that is possible. Because again, there is no man that is 100% free for a many challenge. But to a large extent, people feel like, okay, from his pedigree, from what he's done, from what he has not done, from this, that. There was a time when there was a little mistake between one other name that they thought that it was him, but later that was clarified that no, that wasn't him. One professor Oshopiton or something.
name, but it wasn't AMUPITAN. You know, so for me, he got it right. But Mr. President, you need to be able to focus on legacy. When I leave, it was legacy that Zacchaeus was focusing on. I said, if there's anybody that I have actually whatever, I will give ×4 of whatever I've don't you realize that if somebody is giving ×4, he will lose all his money now? But he was saying, look, this money that you guys are talking about, that he said, I don't want it, I don't need it. He needs to demonstrate things like that, to just say, you know what, my salary, I will bring it half in the second time. I mean, if by stroke of luck, Nigerian vote you back, you need to demonstrate, like, you know what, my salary, in fact, I won't take any salary, anything that, both salary and all this office, whatever perks and all that, I'll give it to people, because there are so many persons who wish they have 1 in a billion of what you have. You know, and you know one thing, the way life has been, you can't eat more than you can eat. That's it. You can't. In fact, sometimes I just say God is so incredible. If you like have the whole money in this world, if you overeat, you will be sick, you will die. You're comfortable. You will even die. There's a lot of food you will eat. People have ate, you know, in Saturday and they die. So there's some level of comfort. If you have too much comfort, you will be sick. So the way life is that you must not have too much, you should not also have too little. There are too many Nigerians that are having too little. How can we say over 100 million Nigerians are living below the poverty line? You shouldn't sleep. It's very troubling. You should not sleep like that. And also, I want to say that, you know, he has this, what's it called, the tax law, and so they said there's going to be a whole lot of money, you know, come next year. I want to challenge Mr. President. Look, let me channel that to the critical area of Nigerians' growth. Don't allow, with all due respect, don't allow anybody who does not mean well for the country to feast on it, because feasting on it again makes nonsense of it. So you tax people, bring it and collect it, and then some other people steal it dry. No, you don't want to do that. So, Mr. President, you've got your legacy really dangling. You've done quite a bit correctly, but the biggest one is actually the issue of making sure that even anybody that gets to the opportunity of leadership, people should say, okay, he got it right. If we get it right with INEC, because your leadership emergence process is very key to deliverables. When you have wrong people in leadership, you already stagnated the 4 years of Nigerians. Now, if you get the wrong thing in leadership, then you stagnated the people of Nigeria. Correct. Well, I want us to look at the president's trajectory in terms of identifying people who became useful at leadership level. Yep. People cannot totally say Babatunde Fashola was a failure in Lagos. Yep. After him. Correct. A lot of people credit his emergence to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Correct. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Then Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Governor of Lagos State. Yeah. And there is also the story of the former House Senate Committee Chairman on Appropriation from Lagos, who said he was discovered by the president himself. And that guy makes a very good contribution during the legislative session. And then this young man who was Senator Mamora also, I know. And then this other young man who is the Minister of ICT, of technology, that was said to have criticized Nigeria in his anger at some point, and so the senators were never even willing to allow him. But the president insisted, let the young man come in. And of course, if he could, as an individual, attract a big name, or like Zuckerberg into the country, then he could be able to do something for the nation. So this may be another opportunity. If we look at, I want us to look at the other side of the president's capacity in terms of identifying people that can make impact. Look at Ben Akabweze, whom he brought into the Buhari government to manage the budget office, and the level of impact that man did there. So with this background,
I think it is not, we shouldn't totally dismiss with the possible opportunity that are in this particular appointment for Nigerians. Yes, the president himself may have some level, because everywhere around the world, presidents always suffer deficit of trust from the public. Perceptions towards the president is not always very, it's not always on the high side, except when 2 or 3 performances are beginning to trickle down to the people.
Correct.
Like you said about the fuel subsidy, it is indeed a very difficult and tough decision. Everyone said it was a tough decision made by the president. And of course, at that time, the rate at which increases in cost of living came up was very scary. You know, but now people are beginning to adjust to them. Some of the things that went up are coming down, except for the fuel, what they call, which have not gotten right. Obviously, I think is a function of the inavailability of infrastructure across the country to be able to do them. When we have a lot of when we have rail lines and these things are transported by the rail, I'm certain that there may be some level of drop in the cost. International market prices are affecting the yo-yo like kind of movement in the price range. But if we have infrastructure to be able to deal with this thing, gas option is coming in. You see the long queue where you were for those gas filling stations. Of course, right now there are few. Maybe in the next 5 years, in the next 4 years, more of this infrastructure will be deployed. And when they are deployed, it is certain that the transportation costs will come down. I'm from Edo State. I know before now, the Edo line used to have the CNG buses, the red buses. Edo City, sorry. Edo City used to have CNG buses. From Benin to Abuja and back. It is when they get back that they refuel.
Wow.
You know? And when they come from Benin, they come drop passengers. The next morning they go, and you see the two cylinders. They're white. They're always painted white. And then they were very efficient in their movement. And their transport, it was the lowest what they call transportation company at least from Abuja or from Kaduna to Benin at the time. So when we have this opportunity, we just pray that more investors come in and invest in that direction, and as we expand, certainly these prices will go. Some of the transporters can compromise taking 100 naira or 200 naira less because they know they are on gas. You know, but the ones who are using fuel will not. They will tell you no, and you will think they are being difficult. It is the reality of their own economic mathematics. So let's move on to the 100 billion by the EFCC. Which was given to which they say they recovered and they are given to NELFON. What opportunities lies for Nigerian students with that, knowing that I think the NELFON didn't have in the budgetary allocation did have up to 100 billion. I think it was around 60 something or 50 something billion that was. Now you have a whole about 130% or 40% increase of that fund. What opportunities lay for the Nigerian student? This is for you parents. This is for you students. Time for you to call in. We are waiting to hear your calls over this.
I think it's also another golden goal scored by Mr. President, you know, allowing, you see, people want to see how recovery loot, how it gets to the common man. President must understand that's the key thing. In fact, when they were bringing back the looted funds, Abacha loot and all that, they usually put condition. How do we trace it to the life of an average Nigerian? Don't let it be that we've recovered and we have put it in our budget. Then when it is inside the budget of the entire thing, another person can come and just take it off and we will not see it. So for you to have said, okay, yes, EFCC said they've recovered about 500 billion and you took 20%, which is actually 100 billion, and say at least this one, let's go to NELFON, so that more students can actually get the lifeline they need. Look, there are some very brilliant people. Just because they couldn't pay their school fees, they drop out. They will just do maybe after primary, secondary. They say they can't go further. They become carpenters. Without due respect, you can be a carpenter and be somebody in life. But because of the way our society has been structured, has been wired, You people want to know that. Let it not be because I couldn't afford the basic money for me to be able to go. Let it be that I'm the one who feel like, look, you know what, I love this skill, I just want to go sing. Just like if you see the likes of what's it called, fella that they say go and reach so thing, he went to do music. Go and, yes, it's better when you are the one who just made your decision. So for me, I want to say kudos to Mr. President for taking that amount. I want to see even the rest of the money going in the direction that can actually elevate the sufferings of Nigeria, of the masses. How do I mean? Look, if you see, even when we're talking about the CNG buses that you're talking about, flood everywhere with CNG buses. In fact, when they took away the what's it called, the fuel subsidy, what I expected that it will get to a point where during Yuletide, during New Year season, just say that look, there's going to be free buses from Abuja to Lagos, from Abuja to Kano, from whatever to just generally making sure you know that the rich will not go and kill for that. They will not but those who cannot afford that, will they go, wow! So you read them directly. This is it. Look, Nigerians are not asking for too much. No brainer. Just make some of these things, make it almost free. The reason why you may not do it free is that somebody who is no longer now good, who doesn't want to go and do something in Lagos because he has seen free whatever, they just enter. But you just make it so minimal, just like the rock bottom cost. Just okay, from Abuja to Lagos. Okay, you know what? Instead of 50,000, instead of the 50,000 or whatever you're going to pay, if you pay 5,000, they take you to Lagos. Oh, people will be able to really. That is a direct impact. You know, because I want us to de-emphasize the sharing of money, because there's a whole lot of corruption possibility when you just say, oh, we're sharing 75,000, 25 to people. Then you got to trace it to be sure that they collected and that the person who is giving them is not using the another one to take it from them and all of that. But when you can just say, you know what, there are bosses, this is actually how to pay and this is how to, you will be able to touch life. So I want to see more CNG buses to cushion the effect, because once transportation eases out for the masses, 70% of Nigerians are able to get to different places. You see that they will turn around and start praising you. That during your time we're able to actually do this, we're able to do that, we're able to go to our work. Look at the train station. I want to see that it comes back to life. You know, where people will just be able to get into the train. There was one time when Ngozi Okonjo realized, while she was still the honorable minister right here, somebody they were trying to actually get some interview, and I think she was in UK or so, UK I guess. And she said, no, she's on the line for the train station. She's on the line. You know, so our honorable minister is keen to get into the train. Here, even an average person is unable to enter train. You can't even get it for whatever. So I'm just saying that let this money that you take from people, let it have direct impact on the masses of Nigerians. Let it not be that Luther collected it from the formal. No. Don't let it be shrouded in any secrecy. I love the fact that you came out 20%. Okay, this money, take it to whatever, and people know where it's going. You can account for that. Let's identify road infrastructure, because I tell people, if you give Nigerian roads, you give them water, you give them electricity, leave them. That is all. They will fix other things. That is all. But when sometimes, do you know something? I love to travel by road. I love it. I love driving. In fact, some of my staff with me, where we are going, you can't drive. Please, you know, and all that. I just love it. I drive from Abuja to Lagos. Even as a corps member, I'm talking about 30 years back, I would drive down and come back. But these days, the fear of bad road, the fear of insecurity, the fear of all of that, and even the bad boys and all kinds of stuff, we make you to just want to say, look, you know what, if let me just fly down. Not because even most of the people you're seeing flying, some of them really don't want to fly. They're not happy flying. Because when you're going by road, you know something, it's like excursion. You're sightseeing. You're seeing the whole lot. You know, when I'm driving, I'll be telling my son and my kids, okay, this is actually whatever, this is where we are right now. We stop, we pull over, we eat, we're driving. That was how I grew up, and I wish I could do that for my kids, but I can't because of insecurity. Somebody told me one day that one Nigerian that just came and just put his kids in the bus, and he was telling me about 2 days ago. I said, you don't fear God? What if they pick your kids and kidnap and whatever? He said, well, I did that. So I just want to see where the money that is recovered from any loot is channeled directly into areas that will elevate the sufferings of the common Nigerians.
The hospitals are there, with education.
Hospitals,
hospitals are there. That
the road infrastructure, and all of that. So Nigerians can say they can beat,
that those ones that were taken from them to some extent has come back to them in a way that is improving their life. So there's another story there about on the front page. I think it was Vanguard who carried it. That talked about the PDP convention, and how consensus, how consensus, a matter of consensus. The North has taken a decision that okay, this is going to be a consensus candidate. But the Punch is saying that, I think it's the Punch or some other people say, another paper, they say that it's a split on that decision. Consensus candidate. In this opposition, the PDP is still doing consensus.
Of
course, it's an option.
They need to do more. They need to do more, of course, because now several people have moved out of PDP. So the fewer persons, they must do all they can at the background to make sure that there is less dissenting voices. It needs to be like, bros, I beg, behind the scene. It is not well, let all of you go and compete. Let us. Plead with them so that you can galvanize people together. You can have people, the fewer persons who are still remaining to actually speak in one voice. Turaki has been around for a while. He's been a minister. He's been around, with PDP for many years. So he emerging as the consensus for the North. Actually, the North is saying, look, this is our guy. And if the North says this is our guy, because obviously he's coming from the North, the chair really needs to go to the North. Because they already zoned the presidency to the South, and this is the way it goes. When the presidency will be from the South, then the chairmanship will be from the North. So I wish him well. I wish them well. I wish PDP well. That they will be able to, for once, maybe in recent times, to put their hearts together, because too many things have really gone wrong for PDP. Too many things. And I don't like to trace it down, but I tell you that I know that the fall apart started when Atiku refused to actually allow the gentleman agreement that they had. Even for him, he never knew it was going to snowball.
Yes, it was snowball.
Because simply when it was zoned to the North, everybody just waited. Okay, let even Wike, the strong man from South, he supported and the governors, everybody to support him. Now it was zoned to the South. You now said no, you must go to Southeast or nowhere. No, he's saying it's not in your purview. It's not in your right to decide where he goes to in the South. Leave the Southerners to go decide it themselves. Simple matter. Because if you now go there, you can now go and drum up support behind, but not to say, if it won't go to Southeast, that's micro zoning. And it wasn't. And
the party was not into micro zoning.
No, it wasn't. It was North and South.
Yeah, it is the region that now doing.
You understand? So this thing has now snowballed.
The party a very huge.
Atiku is out. Obi is out. Kwankwaso out. So many people out. So many governors sitting and former governors out of that party. So that party. I can say that maybe the party just had about 20% of its old glory.
And somehow that experience exposed the party leadership to their numbering in terms of their capacity and strength to the public space as at 2023. We don't know what it will be in 2027. Because when they were all negotiating and talking, nobody knew that Kwankwaso will be restricted to just one area. And nobody knew that what's called Obi was going to give the vice president that level of challenge with us 700,000 difference. No, not just a huge number in an election, but nobody expected that Obi would have
someone without structure.
Yeah, someone without structure with
without a state governor, without any.
Without
no, he did very well. He did very well, and
in that election. Let's look at this. I think two papers talked about it, that Wike said Nigeria, an African country, the continent has actually been stunted by transactional leadership. As if you look at it, what does it imply that the country is stunted by transactional leadership? And is there still not transactional leadership?
Okay, I want to say that Wike is trying to speak to the future. He's saying, you know what, guys, I though I've not read the details of that story, so I don't know whether he tried to exonerate himself, because whatever leadership that we have currently, Wike is very major inside it. So if we say we have transactional, that means also he is part of the transactional leadership architects, that brought us here. However, going forward, he's saying, you know what, guys, can we actually have leaders who do not need to buy their leadership, who do not need to buy their way to the top, who need to ride on credibility, who need to ride on the fact that the choice of the people, but we cannot have that until our electoral system is cleaned up. Look, the money, what it takes to be the president today, if you don't have trillions of naira, you cannot be the president because of our process. Our process is so cumbersome, it's not funny. You have to go to all of the states, you have to go to all local government, you have to physical flying everywhere. You have to put your postal everywhere. You have to get even what's it called, police, polling unit agent. And it's just crazy. So for me, I want to see a leaner way to manage INEC, where people who really don't have the deep pocket, but they've got incredible integrity, can just say, you know what, I want to do this.
They have integrity and capacity.
Yes.
Because sometimes we just have the integrity without capacity.
No. You have integrity and capacity. You understand? When people believe in you, that you can get it done. Yeah. But the only thing is that you are not a money bag. Currently in Nigerian leadership process emergence, if you are not a money bag, you must go and look for a godfather that will sponsor you, and that shouldn't be. It should be that anybody who has a phone should be able to actually log in and vote for whoever I want to vote, and the vote counts. Until we get to that point where people don't go to borrow money to become governors or to become president or senators or House of Rep, where people don't need to go and get godfather who sponsored them and they need to pay back, where Nigerians don't need to do all this kind of stuff before they emerge. Until then, you know what? We are not going to have corruption-free leadership. We are not, because if somebody has approached you to get $1 billion,
totally out of time.
All right.
Thank you very much for being with us, our great comrade and entrepreneur, public analyst Moses OBISESAN. Thank you very much for joining us this morning on a newspaper review. We have come to the end of this program this morning. We look forward to having you join us as we come up again for the polity, and as well as return to by Monday to continue this beautiful experience of daily encounter. Thank you very much. My name is OSARETIN, OSADEBAMWEN, and goodbye for now.